Mark with Wing Enterprises. Congratulations on purchasing one of the finest ladders on the market today. Doesn't matter whether you've chosen a little giant, a little jumbo, or even the tallest MXZ. We're sure you'll be pleased with your new ladder for years and years to come. The purpose of this presentation is to give you some one-on-one training on how to get the most from your new ladder. A few minutes spent today will help you realize the full potential of this extraordinary ladder system. This video is not meant to be a replacement for the operating and safety instructions manual that came with your ladder. After watching this video, I encourage you to read it carefully. For the most part, ladders are pretty uncomplicated devices, but they can also be one of the most dangerous pieces of equipment you'll ever own. Most accidents happen when people select the wrong ladder for the job, don't inspect it first, fail to set it up properly, or get careless about how they use it. Fortunately, you've selected one of the safest, easiest to use, and most technically advanced ladders ever built. If you haven't used your little giant ladder yet, you may be surprised to learn everything it can do. In fact, it replaces several sizes of conventional and telescoping ladders. So how do you know which size or configuration to use for a particular task? Here are some general rules you should always abide by. First, decide which style of ladder is the best for the job. An A-frame step ladder or an extension ladder. As you already know, a little giant ladder can be used in either configuration. But it is up to you to make sure you choose the right one and adjust the ladder accordingly. Using the wrong type of ladder for the job can result in a fall or other serious injury. If a ladder will be used indoors at low to medium heights, an A-frame ladder is usually recommended. For outdoor jobs, a taller A-frame or an extension ladder are usually most appropriate. Next, the ladder must be tall enough so that you can safely work without needing to climb above the safe standing level. On an A-frame ladder, that means not to stand above the third step from the top and the fourth rung from the top on an extension ladder. If your ladder isn't tall enough, you need to stop and adjust your little giant ladder to a higher setting. In a minute, we'll see how easy it is to change the height of a little giant ladder. When you climb too high on a ladder, it can become unstable, and it doesn't leave you anywhere to hold on. When using an extension ladder to climb onto a roof or platform, you must be sure that at least 3 feet of the ladder extends above the level you will be climbing onto. A ladder which just barely reaches is not sufficient because you'll have to climb dangerously on the top 2 rungs and you won't have anything to hold on to. To prevent possible electric shock, never use a metal ladder where contact with electricity is a risk. Little giant ladders are available in either Type 1A or Type 2 ratings, so you should check the rating of your ladder to be sure it meets the weight requirements for the job. During this presentation, we'll primarily be using a Type 1A aluminum ladder, but most of what we'll teach you also applies to little giant Type 2 ladders and our fiberglass models. Adjusting the size or shape of a little giant ladder takes just a few seconds, so there's really no reason not to change it to the safest possible configuration every time you use it. The hinge at the top of the ladder is what permits you to alter the ladder shape from this to this to this. To change the ladder, begin by pushing straight in on the palm button on both hinges to unlock them. You can now open the ladder to the A-frame position by pulling the 2 ladder halves apart until both hinge lock pins snap into the lock position. If an A-frame ladder is what you need for the job and the height is correct, you're ready to get to work. It's that easy. If an extension ladder is what you need, push in again on the palm buttons to unlock the hinges, and then rotate either side until the hinge locks snap into their lock positions. The ladder is now ready to go. If a taller extension ladder is required for the job, you'll need to adjust the lock assemblies. There are 2 of these on each side. First, Unlock both lock assemblies on the upper half of the ladder by pulling the lock tabs out of the holes. Next, grasp the outer ladder and walk backward, allowing the ladder to telescope to the desired height. When you reach the desired height, simply insert the lock assembly completely into the rung hole. If even more height is needed, you can also extend the other half of the ladder as shown here. To put the ladder back into its stored position, just reverse the sequence of steps. To adjust the height of the ladder when it will be used in the A-frame configuration, first unlock both hinge locks and pull the ladder into the A-frame position. Second, pull the two lock assemblies on one side of the ladder out of the rung holes of the inner ladder and rest them on the side of the outer ladder rail. Third, raise the side of the ladder you just unlocked to the desired height by tipping it like this, and align the outer holes with the nearest rung hole of the inner ladder. Fourth, while holding the inner and outer ladder at the aligned height, reinsert the lock assemblies into the rung holes. Next, raise the other side of the ladder to the desired height by following the same procedure. Release the lock assemblies, tip the ladder, raise the rail, and then reinsert the lock assemblies. In the A-frame position, the ladder can be easily adjusted to use on stairs or other uneven surfaces by changing the length of one of the sides like this. In this position, with one side about a foot lower than the other, the Little Giant ladder provides a convenient and safe way of working close to walls. A normal ladder, when placed facing a wall, puts the user too far away from his work, or when placed sideways, doesn't provide the stability necessary to be safe. Another popular use for a Little Giant ladder is to turn it into a scaffolding system. We'll see more about that in a few minutes. The extremely tall Little Giant MXZ ladders require a little different procedure to set up at their full height. Whenever possible, you should have someone assist you. With the ladder in the closed storage position, lay it flat on a smooth surface. Pull the two top lock assemblies out of the rung holes and rest them on the side of the rail. Telescope the first side to the desired length. Lock it in place. Turn the ladder over. Pull the other two lock assemblies out of the rung holes and rest them on the sides. Telescope the second side to the same length and lock it into place. To raise the ladder, brace the feet against a wall or other solid object, and then walk, rung by rung, the ladder to the vertical position. Now, open the ladder to the A-frame configuration by pulling the ladder halves apart until the hinges lock into place. It's now ready to use. To return the ladder to the stored position, first move the ladder next to a wall or some other solid object. This will provide a brace that will keep the ladder from slipping. Then tip the ladder to the side, lower it to a flat surface, unlock both hinges, bring the ladder halves together, lay it down, and then reverse the previous procedures for retracting the sides. As you can see, changing the shape of a little giant ladder is fast and easy, but you must always take the time to make sure the hinges and the locking assemblies are completely inserted before using the ladder. Little jumbo ladders are even easier to use. You simply open and close the ladder by tilting the upper tread. If you have the optional safety rail installed, it easily swings into place like this, and then folds back down by pressing on the release buttons. The handrail should always be raised after the little jumbo is opened and lowered before it is put back in the storage position. The little jumbo comes standard with tip and pull wheels to make moving it around a snap. While using the little jumbo, you should follow the same basic safety rules as for any other ladder. Detailed instructions can be found on the safety label. Just in case you purchased any of the optional accessories available for the Little Giant, let's take a minute to look at how to use them too. The most popular accessory is the work platform that can be placed on any rung. And unlike other ladders, it is so strong, it can even be used as a step. First, either tighten or loosen the bolts until the brackets move stiffly. If the platform is going to be used as a utility shelf only, you can place it on any rung. But if you are going to stand on it, it is very dangerous to place it any higher than the third rung from the top. Next, push the platform forward out of the way. After you climb past the platform, use your toe to push the platform back until the forward tip rests against the rung, and then it's ready to use. But always check to make sure the platform is secure before putting your full weight on it. Keep in mind that the work platform has a 300-pound capacity, and you should never lay tools on the platform when it's being used to stand on. When you're through, just step to the rung above the platform. Push it forward with your toe, and then step down past it. As we mentioned earlier, the Little Giant ladder can also be used as an excellent scaffolding system. To do it safely, you'll need an optional work platform and a Little Giant telescoping plank. Planks are available in 9, 13, and 16-foot lengths. These heavy-duty planks store in 1/2 their extended length and won't twist, flex, bow, or warp. Using other planks is not recommended. The first step is to separate the ladder into 2 pieces. From the folded and fully collapsed position, pull the inner ladder assembly completely out of the outer ladder bases. Next, open the inner ladder assembly to the A-frame position until both hinges lock. This is the first of the 2 trestles needed for the scaffolding. To create the second trestle, reverse one of the outer ladder bases and turn it 180 degrees against the other base. And then insert the lock assemblies of one base into the holes of the other base. Now, grasp the outer ladder base with the unused lock assemblies. Lower it 1/2 inch. And then spread the other base to form the second trestle. Before using, a work platform must be inserted between the 2 sides to stabilize the second trestle. Begin by rotating the forked ears to this position and then placing the platform between the bases. Note that the wire end of the platform should face the curved rung of the base that was previously turned inward. Pressing down on top of the platform will lock it into place. And it's ready for the plank, which can be placed at any height except on the top rungs. The 2 trestles should be spaced so that the plank can extend at least 6 inches past the outside rung of each trestle. The Little Giant wall standoff can be used to position the ladder away from working surfaces to avoid interference from obstacles. Because it requires some assembly before using, you should follow the enclosed instructions to attach it to the ladder. Once the wall standoff is firmly secured, it can be used in several different ways. For jobs where a safe working angle is hard to get, the ladder can be placed as shown here. Please note that the angle between the wall standoff and the ladder should be 105 degrees, with the wall standoff perpendicular to the wall for safe operation. The angle between the ground and the ladder should be 75 degrees. If your ladder will be used on a pitched roof or over a rain gutter, the angle should be 75 degrees as shown in these two examples. The angle between the wall standoff and the ladder can be changed by simply loosening the wing bolts, flipping the entire wall standoff unit over, and reattaching the clamps to the opposite side rails. The Little Giant Leg Leveler is a safe and sound solution to working on uneven surfaces. To use the leg leveler, first determine which side of the ladder it will be used on. Loosen the wing bolt, which does not clamp the adjusting channel, and remove it. Orient the leveler I-beam the correct direction so that the foot angle will be parallel with the floor, and slide it over the ladder leg with the adjusting channel towards the outside of the ladder. You should keep the I-beam as close to the ladder foot as possible. Next, reattach the bracket adjust to the needed length, and tighten the wing bolt with firm pressure. You must ensure that the ladder is vertical before climbing on it. If the length of the leveler needs adjusting, just loosen the wing bolt, adjust the length, and then retighten. Maintaining your Little Giant ladder takes just a few minutes. To ensure smooth, trouble-free operation, you should lubricate the hinge mechanism and lock assemblies with light machine oil or N-Dust furniture polish every 6 months prior to long-term storage or whenever conditions dictate it. You should also store it in a dry location. Clean the rails occasionally with N-Dust furniture polish. Keep the hinges free of contaminants. Replace worn parts whenever necessary, and replace safety labels if they become hard to read. In the final section of this presentation, we're going to take a look at some do's and don'ts of ladder safety. Let's assume you've chosen the right ladder, adjusted the height or configuration if necessary, inspected it for any mechanical problems, and now you're ready to get to work. Check for overhead clearance and ensure there are no live electrical wires. Wear shoes with clean, non-skid soles. Set the ladder on a firm, level surface so it won't shift or sway. Never place it on slippery surfaces. On soft ground, use a board at least 6 inches wide under the legs to keep them from sinking. Extension ladders must be placed so that they lean at a 75-degree angle. If a steeper angle is used, the ladder may tip back when you climb on it. And if the ladder is placed too far out, the feet may slip out. An easy way to determine the right slope is to use a 4-to-1 ratio between the length of the ladder and the setback of the base. For example, a 12-foot ladder must be set back 3 feet to be safe. Both rails of an extension ladder must be fully supported with at least 18 inches of extra space on either side. Extension ladders have a front side and back side and should never be climbed from the back side. Keep your body centered on the ladder while working and leave one hand on the ladder whenever possible. As a general rule, keep your belt buckle between the rails to prevent losing your balance, and never overreach. Always get off and move the ladder whenever necessary. Tying off the ladder at the top or staking the legs can offer a higher level of protection when the ladder will be in one place for some time. A-frame ladders must be in the fully open position with the hinges and lock assemblies firmly secured. Always face the ladder when you climb, and never jump off a ladder or skip any rungs. Never position a ladder in front of a door or where it could get easily bumped. Haul heavy tools and materials up on a line instead of trying to carry them up the ladder. Never allow more than one person on an extension ladder. 2 people may climb on opposite sides of a Little Giant A-frame ladder as long as the weight capacity is not exceeded. Don't climb a closed A-frame ladder. Don't leave a ladder unattended. And finally, always use common sense when working with ladders. False security can lead to carelessness, which can cause serious injuries. It's important to keep in mind that the person ultimately responsible for your safety is you. Even the safest ladder can be dangerous when proper precautions aren't taken in its use. Thank you once again for purchasing a Wing ladder. If you have any other questions, please contact your Wing dealer.